Tonight, after a raging inferno gutted popular store Voyager, its owner says a phoenix is rising from the ashes. A local food truck owner loses her livelihood to fire only a short distance away from the site of the Ajuda building fire, and the impeachment of U.S. President Donald Trump. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night, it is Wednesday, the 18th of December 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM. Watch via our website www.caribbeanhottv.com or on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. It's a big day in the U.S. Lawmakers debated on the House floor over the articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. They made strong cases for and against impeaching President Trump. We will have more on that later in the broadcast. But first, Voyager St. Lucia is back in business after the original store in the Castries Boulevard was destroyed by fire on the 21st of November. Though much stock was lost and several staff made redundant, the business owner says his business is ready to rise from the ashes.
As we approach the 1-month mark of the Ajuda building fire in the Boulevard in Castries, we speak with local business owner Manish Matani of Voyager, who lost his entire business through the fire. He has reopened shop right here in the Valmore building in Castries just in time for the Christmas season, and is going to inform us on how things are going so far. How has it been in terms of keeping staff? Because this is, as you said, a smaller location. Have you had to cut off staff? How has it been so far?
Yeah, we had close to a little over 20 staff at the time, and it is our location presently is 600 square feet compared to over 2,000 square feet. So we had staff before, which we could accommodate. Now with a smaller location, we have to cut down. It's only logical, it's only economical. I can't keep everybody, and I was hemorrhaging for a while. I was out of business for more than 3 weeks. So there was no source of income at all. And so those 3 weeks were crucial for us economically, and we suffered. And we're still suffering. So having extra staff, just keeping them would have been great, but we can't afford to do that. We really have to look at our future. If we want to survive, we need to look forward. I encourage everybody to check us out, see how we are, how we're doing. And it's for what we have, it's great. I think it's wonderful. We actually have air conditioning, which we never had before. So you have to look at the little luxuries now that we do have. And it's a quaint little place that we think people will really appreciate. So I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Please be safe and enjoy yourselves.
Don't forget you're watching Hot 7 TV here at the new Voyagers outlet in Castries. For Hot 7 News, I am Jaco Williams.
Now, mere feet away from the site of the Ajuda building fire, another local business owner lost her livelihood to flames. Priscilla Jean-Louis gives an account of her morning gone wrong.
Fire continues to engulf the city of Castries. Its latest victim, Miss Priscilla Jean-Louis of the Boulevard, whose business was engulfed in flames this morning while she made a run to get some bread.
They had some oil on the stove, and the water boiled, and it fell in the stove, and it just blazed up and catch there with fire. When something happens to you like that, you have to try and you're losing all the time, you're losing sale.
Ms. Jean-Louis says she is very thankful to the members of the Boulevard who came to her aid as soon as the fire engulfed, with only her daughter inside of her caravan. She says she is ready to rebuild and looking forward to the new year in 2020. For Hot 7 News, I am Jaco Williams.
There is good news for drivers and commuters. The 4-lane highway of the road widening project are now all open. But the Grocery Minibus Owners Association continues to be very vocal about the entire project and the process. The Public Relations Officer, Thomas Louis, says the association hopes that relevant authorities acknowledge obvious faults in the progression of the project, which will allow better organization of future road works.
It has been 4 months since the Department of Infrastructure officially commenced the Sandals Halcyon to Shock Roundabout road widening project. On the eve of its completion, Public Relations Officer of the Grizzly Minibus Owners Association, Thomas St. Louis, says he hopes the efforts made by the association to alert authorities on the implications of this project on their daily operations did not go unnoticed. Issues included bus stop access, traffic congestion, back road limitations, and a resulting lack of efficiency in drivers meeting the demands of commuters. St. Louis says members have recognized the necessity for highway development, but cannot ignore several key points of weakness identified in the organization of this project.
It has been a very challenging year for us, especially the end of November, leading into December when it comes to the road project. We do not think it was the best suitable time of year because that is the year you get more movements, people getting their Christmas business done. However, we welcome the project because this project is way overdue. However, it was very challenging for us in terms of the traffic. You understand? We do believe the traffic management should have been handled a little more better in terms of, the container trucks, and even when it comes to the barriers after the roundabout, this could have been removed to allow heavy-duty vehicles to migrate back to the left.
St. Louis calls for greater stakeholder involvement in the organization of future projects.
And also the tardiness of the project. I feel it's a project that was done very slow. And again, we the minibus sector are part of the stakeholders. And we were not informed. We were not a part of the discussion. Would like to see in the future that, all stakeholders come on board because you can incorporate any good idea.
He commends his fellow drivers for the resilience and commitment shown over the past few months and wishes them all a safe and festive Christmas season. For 7 News, I am Jacqueline.
Digging deeper into claims made by Minister for Housing, Guy Joseph, in regards to the current financial situation plaguing the National Housing Corporation, NHC, the Hot 7 crew took to the doorsteps of former Housing Minister Stanley Felix. Felix says comments made by Guy Joseph with regard to a lack of audits at the NHC during his tenure are in fact accurate. However, he says there's much more to the story than is being told. Solange Alfred fills us in.
When I inherited the NHC in 2016, no financial statements had been done except for 2012, which was incomplete and had not been signed by the previous government.
Financial audits are objective evaluations of an organization's financial report. According to Minister for Housing Guy Joseph, he inherited a National Housing Corporation that was not completely audited under the St. Lucia Labour Party's leadership from the years 2011 to 2016. Seeking answers as to how such an oversight occurred, Hot 7 TV tracked down former Minister for Housing and Urban Renewal, Stanley Felix. Felix says Joseph's assertions are not completely off track. However, he says Joseph failed to mention one critical part of the equation.
The minister is partially right, but he ought to have placed things, as I said, in context. When we came into government in 2011, we found an NHC that was largely insolvent, meaning that the NHC was broke, couldn't afford anything. We inherited a debt of almost $50 million that was left over from the previous United Workers' Party administration. We had an overdraft account of over $2 million, meaning that the banks did not want to serve the NHC. We had to scramble pretty much every month to raise money to pay salaries and recurring expenses. Yeah? The reason why we were not able to file audited statements was because of that situation, where in large the NHC was insolvent, and for us to have filed audited statements, the NHC would have had to have been declared a bankrupt.
Felix says the SLP government decided against filing bankruptcy for the NHC during their tenure. He says, in an attempt to rectify the situation as best as possible, actions were taken to reduce the corporation's overdrafts.
What we did was to have been able to raise some $15 million to re-inject into the NHC, we totally eliminated the overdraft. So when Guy Joseph and his administration came in, they found that NHC, yes, with high debt, because we came in and found a $50 million debt. But what they had the breathing space to operate because our overdraft had been brought down to zero. They had absolutely no overdraft. More than that, we had gone ahead and had surveyed and started to put infrastructure in place for the forestry, what would be the forestry housing development. Right? Those lots had been surveyed, and all we had to do was to sell the lots to bring in some more revenue into the NHC.
Minister Guy Joseph is of the opinion that the NHC cannot be salvaged. As for Felix, he is a bit more optimistic and says the situation can be remedied with the proper attention.
We have to look at what properties are available, continue along the lines of making lands available to people. We may not be able, the NHC may not be able financially to construct houses and sell houses, but it certainly can salvage the lands that it has and sell the lands to first-time potential homeowners at prices that are affordable enough. That, in fact, would bring in much needed cash flow into the NHC and allow it the opportunity perhaps to refinance its outstanding debt. And that is one way to go. And as things get better, then you look towards more revenue-oriented projects like affordable housing in partnership with persons who could put in the initial expenditure for the infrastructure and whatnot.
For his part, Joseph says the backlog of unaudited reports have posed a challenge for the National Housing Corporation and the current administration to fulfill its mandate of providing low-cost housing to St. Lucians. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Thank you, Solange. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the fate of U.S. President Donald Trump. Fire victims in Belize receive assistance. And the former director of the Folk Research Center reminisces about the Christmas of yesteryear with Tradición Wells. Stay with us.